Havemeier, and thank you for joining us for this month's 3 on 3 at 3. We are here to discuss topics that are relative to today's current market with panelists that really thrive in the topic. This week's discussion is client retention. We are blessed to have three amazing agents here to share their insight today. And my name is Kendra Havemeier, and I'm an associate broker at Bella Bay Realty, Grand Rapids. And I'm honored to moderate this discussion today. So first thing, I'm going to have all the panelists introduce themselves. Please state your name, your company, and how long you've been in the business. Josh?
I'll start off. Hi, everybody. Josh May with May Group Realtors, RE/MAX of Grand Rapids. I've been selling real estate for over 21 years, right around the corner here from Grar, and absolutely love it. Excited to share with you guys today.
I am Nicole Rinks. I'm the broker at Century 21 Affiliated in Grand Rapids. I have also been selling real estate for 21 years, so I think I look a lot younger than Josh, but that's fine. No,
You are a lot younger.
I'm kidding.
I'm Cheryl Grant. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams North. I have my own team, the Cheryl Grant Real Estate Team. And all this time, I thought I would be the old one. Well, I am the oldest, I'm sure, on the panel, but I have not been in the business the longest. 18 years for me.
A bunch of veterans here.
Wow, and I feel like a newbie at
60,
8 years.
60.
So
We've got 68 years
68
combined.
years.
Think of the wealth of knowledge.
Experience.
Think of the wealth of knowledge. Well, we should just dive right into that wealth of knowledge. So we were actually just talking before here, not to spoil some of the questions, but we were talking about getting new agents to do some of these events. And we were talking about like some of the failures that they've had before, that not every single event is going to be a huge success. But I think it's important for new agents to realize like to have these events and have people, they will come. So I think it's important to really think of doing some client appreciation events and do things that keep you top of mind. So thanks you guys for sharing that, but we'll go over that later and stay on topic and on schedule. So the first question is, how do you consistently stay top of mind? Josh, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting to set the stage here. So you guys may have heard the stat, and the stat's going to be close. So I think NAR came out with a stat. They said at the closing table, when buyers and sellers were polled, 91% of clients said they would actually use their realtor again. And the actual stat comes down to that stat goes down to 13% of people actually use their realtor again. So it's such an eye-opening stat, and I actually talk about that a lot. You know, when I talk to agents on my team, and we really focus on that because full transparency. I mean, I've been doing this for 21 years, but half of my career, I can honestly say I didn't do it the right way. Like I didn't do a great job. I was in my 20s. I didn't really understand, you know, the importance of reconnecting with people, staying top of mind, and we need to be really careful not to fall in the trap of thinking that we are always going to be memorable, right? Like we get in the process, we're working with people for months and months and months, and we just assume that they love us, right?
Right. They think that, we think that they're like thinking of us all the time.
Right.
It's an ego thing. I don't
Right,
know.
right.
I want a baby named after me after
Right.
I've been working on
Right,
months and
right.
months.
No,
So I-
that's a great point.
I mean, I think we need to set the stage that there's some realities out there, and even furthermore, like I heard a stat that after 7 years, consumers don't even remember our names, right? So my biggest thing is, you know, 8 to 10 years ago, as I saw some of my homes that I had sold to my buyers being listed by other agents, I came to a realization that things had to change, right? And it needs to change in a very calculated way. And we were talking beforehand about, you know, what exactly I do. And to be honest with you, there's a little bit of a mix of everything. I'm very big on staying top of mind. But I also believe after 20 years, you have to take different marketing paths, different marketing approaches to different people, right? So our entire database they're going to see us at least twice a month through community videos, through market updates. And then we've got our top clients, our VIP clients, our top 50 clients that we're going to consistently communicate with in some capacity once a month, right? These are the clients that we're going to count on for referrals year in and year out. And and we want to stay top of mind with them. And another piece of that is, we mix a healthy amount of client events into the mix. So we're 3 to 4 client events a year. And on top of that, just, the social media piece is becoming such a bigger and bigger picture from a branding perspective. Like everything we're doing, our clients and the consumers and the entire audience is going to see, but specifically, social media is going to give us a way to always stay top of mind. So that was the very long answer, but there's
I like it.
lots
Very detailed.
of ways to stay top of mind, and you need to be very calculated about that. And as a newer agent or even a veteran agent, the easy part to do is talk about it. The tough part is the implementation, right? So we've got to make a commitment to implementing the systems.
Do you have a certain time blocking schedule? Do you have that you say, okay, I'm going to make at least 5 posts or something similar to that?
Right. Yeah, I do. So
Okay.
I'm a little bit more of a structured in my mornings. So my schedule is I get all of the, all of this type of work done first thing in the mornings. That's when I'm most productive. That's when I'm most fresh. And then as far as, accountability pieces, we go over this stuff once a month. And when I say we, I run a small team, so we're kind of all doing this together. But just accountability pieces in the sense of what are you doing every single month, working in 30-day increments, how many social media posts, how many connections with your top clients, how many phone calls, whatever that looks like, you've got to have the accountability. So I'm a morning person, and that's what works for me.
Yeah, that's great.
To go along with that, I think it's important, especially when you're meeting with new agents and you're having these team meetings, or if you're just a single agent, to track what you're doing so you can look back. Yes, you have a plan, but make sure you are marking down what you're doing every day and then go back, over the last month and make sure that you are doing those things. And if you're not doing them, you're probably seeing the results of that.
Yeah, I think systems are critical. And it may seem a little boring, especially to younger people getting in the business thinking, oh no, I now have to have a system. But really, the systems keep you on track. And you set up what your number of touches that you want with your top 50 or your top 1,000, whatever your number is going to be. And how many times a month do you want to reach them? And I always try to think of it as content driven. I like to give my viewers, as I like to call them, my clients, some real information that they'll use.
Not fluffy stuff. Yeah. I love that.
You won't see me sending a postcard to say Happy 4th of July. And I know a lot of people do, and you keep on doing it.
Do you.
But I just am more content driven. So like our monthly market analysis is very detailed, and that's on each person's I think we're like at 1,000 people, 1,000 or maybe more. Chelsea would know that, who receive those market analysis every month with great detail on the value of their home and what's happened over the last 30 days. And just some projections for the future. So that I think is really content. I know it's really content based. The other is promotional. We do client testimonials. I've always felt better allowing my clients to tell others how absolutely wonderful I am. And most of them are really excited to do it for you, right?
They want to help you.
Yeah. And so we do that monthly as well. And then, of course, you always have to do your solds because you've got to tell your people or your database that you're actually doing work and you're closing these places. And then we talk about number of days on market, percentage over the list price, and all those sort of things. None of this is breakthrough stuff. It's just typical stuff.
And putting it on a schedule. I think
Right.
Schedule
Schedule
each
is
of
key.
you is saying that you're doing this in a calculated
Yeah.
way. It's not
Ours
just,
have our
I'm going to
dates.
wake up today and just kind of do this. It's more of a, like I do a quarterly newsletter. It sounds like you do it like kind of like a newsletter too with market updates. So staying consistent that they know that to look for it.
I think the
is
key
important.
to all of this is having a system, like
Yep.
you said, and being intentional about what you're doing. A lot of it is going to be AI, so you're not doing it yourself. You're just having that all go out for you. I mean, that's very easy. And all three of us are with companies who, have a brand. So that's also a touch point if you're recognizing a brand and that's leveraging a brand. So staying top of mind that way is is kind of easy. One trick that I always tend to fall back to, just because I can set all those things up. They can be very unpersonalized sometimes. They can be more personalized if it's coming from me. But I like to go through my phone. This is just an easy way for me to remember quarterly and text every person in it. And I break it down. Like I'll do like 5 a day. Just, hey, well, how are you doing? What are you guys up to? And that's just an actual text coming right from my phone, and it always leads into a conversation. So it's easy for me if I know if I'm doing it quarterly, just to break it up and text them all at least 4 times a year.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think all of you do a really good job at having a plan and then following through with it too. So it's not just every once in a while they get a market analysis or something or a text. It's like consistent, that even after maybe 7 years when they statistically forget about you, that you're still sending them a text. I think that's important. I also like that you said too, like the postcards. You can waste money on postcards, and you can waste money on like little 4th of July things. I get that it stays like top of mind, but also have a purpose with it too, and make sure that you look like the professional. That I know the stats and I know the info. I think those go so long. It just makes us as realtors all look really professional that way. So as I talk about budget, do you guys have a budget for like postcards for your events, for anything like that? Like, do you have a yearly budget of this is how much I allocate for my past clients and for client retention? Does anyone have their number?
Who is the big winner here? Because
Big winner. That's why I'm not calling out a single person.
I absolutely just spend whatever I want.
I love it.
No.
I kind of do.
Yeah, no, to be perfect, I guess we do.
A little
to
bit.
be
Some of
honest.
it, I mean, some of it is really like, we were just talking about this too, that some things you just can't see and calculate. Because maybe you have someone that comes to your event, you have a great conversation with them, they refer you someone. Did they refer you because they were invited to your event, or just because they used you before and it was great? I think it does have something to do with it. So it is hard to calculate.
Well, it helps with top of mind too. If they've just spent, a Saturday afternoon with you,
Right.
and someone's asking about a realtor on Sunday, who do you think of? Who was I just with on Saturday? So that does help. But as far as a budget goes, just over the years, I have just spent what I've wanted. Now, I learn each year, like, I guess we don't need, top of the shelf beverages. We might want to do this level or whatever, but I almost always end up with top of the shelf. It's just,
You're going to do it.
if we're going to do it, we do it right.
Yeah, right.
And then I say, I'll cut somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think one thing that would help agents, one thing that's helped me greatly over the years, specifically, we made a commitment to this like 3 or 4 years ago. We started putting together our annual marketing plan in November, December, and really analyzing everything we want to do. But the beautiful thing about that is we keep talking about consistency. Like once we say we're going to do it, that's the whole plan.
Yeah.
Like we all have to hold each other accountable. But from a budget perspective, that lets me look at, okay, we've got 4 events coming up for 2022. We've got monthly mailers, we've got the Christmas card, we've got community events, we've got all these things, and I can analyze it and make sure and look back on past years and say, okay, are we doing the right thing? Does that make sense?
Did we get enough people that came in, or are we doing too many events?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, like when it comes to client events, I always look at client events. I know it can seem overwhelming for some because, sometimes it's $1,000 or $2,000. And, obviously partnering up with home inspectors or lenders or whatever that might look like to help soften that blow. But I just always look at client events as whether you have 4 people, 5 people, 20 people, 40 people. I mean, it should be easy for you to generate one referral from that event, which is
It pays for itself.
It pays for itself.
100% pays for itself. So I think client events is definitely one of the most cost-effective things you can do and execute based on your overall return.
Absolutely. And I think that's true for all of us, that we make a business plan in the beginning of the year and we set aside, this is what we're going to do. It's easy to kind of, defer from that a little bit. So you do potentially overspend. But a good way, too, is to partner up with an agent in your office maybe. Or, our office does photos with Santa. And we will all pitch in for the Santa, the photographer. And that's a great event for like a family, to pull in families. We do have a spike top cocoa bar. But so many people come to that. And really, it's easy to do with a lot of people helping. So if you can collaborate with somebody in your office to kind of, if you all have clients that are in the same demographic, it works out well.
Right.
Yeah, and I think too, having a budget in the beginning of the year too, and seeing where you're getting it from. But most of you guys get most of your business from past clients, client retention. So that's a big part of your expenses because you're not buying leads or anything like that too. A lot of that business is being spent from that. So
Right.
thanks for sharing. Sorry to throw that one out.
No,
there
it's
to you
all
guys.
good.
No worries.
Just for a new agent, budgeting I think is important too.
That
So
is
we were
true.
talking about events. So what has been your most impactful event or action, and how do you measure success from that event? We've talked a little bit about the measuring success from that event, but what's been your maybe one or two favorite events that you've done?
My favorite, and it was absolutely packed, was a private screening of Frozen 2. And so we got the whole theater, we did food and drink, and then I hired actors who were the characters from Frozen 2. And of course, most of the kids, well, all the kids, dressed as their favorite character. And it was just an absolutely wonderful experience. And I was able to meet everyone as they came in the lobby and just say hi. Of course, I knew all of them, but it was kind of fun to see the kids who've grown a couple of years or whatever. But that was just an absolutely wonderful event. I was thrilled. I tried to do it with Maverick this year, but we didn't have as much success because no one wanted to give up a showing of that blockbuster movie. But overall, that movie, and especially when it's for kids, it's huge, absolutely huge.
Adults too, I love that one.
What
I
about you?
love that movie.
So I like doing big events, again, with the photos with Santa, but what I found was more impactful was when I was doing like a pizza party move-in event. So when we would have a closing, we would say, hey, why don't you send me the names of, 15 of your friends and family will bring pizza. We would go. We wouldn't stay the whole time, but then we got to meet their friends and family. And we were doing that really every closing up until like COVID started happening and people got weird. But now we're starting again, and people love that. And we get to meet all their friends and family, and it's a great kind of next step to referrals.
Everyone wants to show off their new
House.
place too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What about you, Josh?
There's been some fun ones. I think that I'm gonna go the pizza route also, because we just are coming off a pizza event a couple weeks ago. And we've been doing this event the past couple years because it's so easy. It is absolutely our easiest event, and it's our most impactful. So what we do is we go to Licari's Pizza, best pizza in Michigan, and we promote them. And we do an event like a Tuesday, Wednesday night in the summer. We say pizza on us, right? Quick email to our clients. All our clients have to do is fill out a Google form saying when they're going to pick the pizza up and what they want. It's that simple. Nice. Then we coordinate with the pizza place. There's 100 pizzas getting ready, and as people are pulling in, we're literally like have their pizza ready for them. We give it to them. We get a chance to talk for a couple minutes. And then the bonus is, I shouldn't be telling everybody this. Well, I don't think my clients are going to be watching.
That's fine.
But anybody that wants to stay and dine in, we pick up the tab. We make it really special for everybody. But it's really easy, and it's the easiest event we do all year, and it's probably our most impactful because we know how busy families are, and my demographic right now is like young kids, families and young kids. So my families aren't necessarily going to come and see me just for like a happy hour, but they will come by and pick up a pizza because they're very busy and appreciate that. So that's been really impactful and easy over the years.
I love that. And you kind of touched on that too, like what your demographic is. I think that's huge too, is to know who your demographic is and to cater events to that. I've heard of some agents too that do like a rooftop happy hour for some of their like young adults that they don't have kids or anything like that. And then they have kind of separate ones for like a pizza or Frozen, like ones with kids. So I think that's something that you kind of have to look at and see, like, who am I selling houses to, and how can I create an event that they would really enjoy and show up.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think that also speaks to newer agents, what they can do, right? So I think I hear a lot of new agents that are kind of scared to do something because they're scared that nobody's going to show up, right? And it's this fear, but there's so many examples of just like small 6 to 10 person events. We have somebody on my team, Ross, he did this really cool bourbon tasting, like at Buffalo Traders, and there was just 8 of them, and it was very impactful. So like any agent can hopefully come up with 2 couples or 4 to 6 people or whatever that looks like. So don't ever be scared about like doing small events.
Yeah, and staying top of mind, they got your invite,
Right.
maybe from a postcard, maybe from an email, maybe from a Facebook invite, or all of them.
And a phone
probably,
call,
and a
and
phone
then,
call
yeah.
and a text.
Right.
And so you're touching them that way too. So it's kind of unbelievable too. I just had an event too, and there's so many people that couldn't show up, but at least I got a text message or a call that said, "I'm so sorry I can't make it, but thanks for the invite." It at least brought me top of mind again.
Right.
So I think that's important to look at too. So on the flip side, I know we don't all love to talk about our failures, but I think it's important to talk about. So on the flip side, what was an event that you had that was kind of a bust or just wasn't worth your time and energy to do?
Michigan State game.
Everyone has played. Yeah, that's a tough one.
We did that and went overboard with the tailgate guys, the service that they offer. It was at State last season. And, or was that the season before? Hey, I don't know. I'm not
COVID,
really a big football fan, but so we did that and spent a lot of money on the tent and the location. Then I wasn't happy with the location. It was, too far away from the real fun. And then the pricing of the food and drink was crazy. So, and the turnout was so small. So it really wasn't something, I won't do it again. How's that?
So you changed your course of
Yes.
like, okay, I'm going to stay away from
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
What about you?
Well, we talked a little bit about this in the beginning. I do not enjoy a pie pickup. I have done Thanksgiving pies and I have driven them around, which is very well received. But last year we decided to do a pickup and everybody sent in their pie orders, but nobody actually came and picked them up because,
Did you end up with a whole bunch
a
of
lot of
pies?
pies. Everybody close to me got pies.
Well, I guess that's nice.
But
right?
it's just people don't want to drive out and get a $8 pie, I guess.
Yep.
So
you have to go deliver it, but then that's a lot of time too.
yeah, it's a
But-
lose-lose because now you end up with
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
tough. All right,
Right.
Josh, what about you? Your failure.
Yeah, so this is a good one. Not to throw my company, Remax of Grand Rapids, under the bus, but we used to have, Dave and
happening
Rachel,
here?
Dave and Rachel will laugh at this. No, I mean this was an incredible community event. We always raised tons of money, but this speaks to being careful on events that are weather dependent, right? So we used to have a massive hot air balloon festival,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Massive hot air balloon festival, and we did this every single year. And we would raise all this money, and we'd invite all of our clients. And unfortunately, there was years that if that wind is a little too strong, those balloons don't go off. So as an agent, you're getting everybody there, you're getting their kids there because
Getting excited.
they want to see it. And then you're literally like, oh my gosh, hopefully the wind stays like 1 mile per hour softer. Otherwise, these balloons are not going off. And then you got to explain everything. So the point is, it's an incredible event. It raised, a ton of money for the community. But the lesson is just analyze your events and really look at, is this weather dependent? Like, what happens if it's a bad storm that day? What
it be
happens?
inside
Can
or
you?
Plan B, yeah.
What's your plan B? Because you don't want to be standing there like, what's next?
Yeah, I've
you
heard
know?
that about zoo, people having like a zoo tickets a certain day or a baseball game, which it does sound really fun. And it would be really fun if you had great weather, but what if you don't? Then,
Right.
then what's your plan B?
Right. So just something to think about.
Yeah,
Right.
that's great. So the last question that I have, we were talking a lot about newer agents coming into the industry and doing these events. We were talking about we're talking about earlier today of like, it's almost impossible, especially after 20-ish years for each of you in the industry, to be able to stay top of mind and purposely touch every single one of your clients. And that's really hard to do. We were talking about a VIP client list that you have, Josh. How else do you kind of keep it organized? How do you keep all your clients organized? Do you have a CRM system?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're currently using the Keller Williams command system, and that's all I'll say about that. But that's So that's what we're using.
But you can
and
keep your clients organized in
yes,
that, right?
yes, and yes. Josh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I think that I will talk to a lot of agents who maybe are just a year or two in, and they've always got them in like a spreadsheet or something.
Yeah.
If they don't have a CRM, I would
Yep.
say whether your broker provides it to you, whether you have to buy one, that you can buy them constantly. You
Yeah.
could use any one. Just use something, because if you don't have a way to keep track of your clients, you won't.
Yeah, I mean, I look at marketing as a little bit of a tiered approach. So after 20 years, unfortunately, I just don't feel like I can stay and really personally connected with everybody.
It's hard,
You know,
yeah.
so I have to like section off my database. We use Follow Up Boss, and then we use some different spreadsheets for, our top clients. So my top clients are generally going to hear from me once a month, right? Now the key here is like, I think people get bored if you just reach out and say hi, like once a month, right? They're like, oh my gosh, what is Josh doing again?
We'll give you a referral when I get one.
So I think the key is like people, I mean, you need to be able to provide value. People want to see like things getting mixed up a little bit. So whether it's handwritten notes, whether it's a video market analysis, whether it's a holiday card, Christmas card, client event, like analyze your year and try and not be boring, right? And then
Or be personal. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
be
you
personal.
want to be
Yeah.
authentic when you're reaching out to them,
Right.
and they want to feel that from you.
100%. And then on top of that, you've got the rest of your database, and everybody's at different places in their career. Like new agents should be connecting with everybody, regardless.
Right.
But for the rest of our database, I mean, we try and connect with them once a year, personal touch. And then on top of that, like they're going to get all the Christmas cards, they're going to get our monthly market updates, they're going to get our community event invites and things of that nature. We're going to try and stay top of mind. And then you have to make a commitment to your social media game because most people are on social media these days. So make a calculated effort of friending people and engaging with people and making sure that what they see you doing out in the community is going to keep you top of mind. So you really have to analyze it in a couple different approaches, I think, is
I
my
like
thoughts.
being the Facebook friend. That's
Well,
something that's on the checklist of when I close a deal.
Yeah.
Make sure, I mean, of course, you show them a house and Facebook's so creepy, right? So they're
Right.
already, we're like, oh, you
you,
saw
you
Ann
know
last
this
night.
person, yeah.
Oh, that's creepy. Yep, I did. And so I, of course, always add them then, but just in case Facebook doesn't know, then it's good to keep that on top of mind and then adding them to your CRM system.
Yes.
And we were talking, you had VIP. I have client A, B, and C, which
Oh, the
sounds
Buffini,
mean,
the
but-
Buffini
Yeah,
play.
yeah. That sounds mean when I say it here, but luckily this isn't going out to the world. It's just in GRAR.
Right,
But
right.
It's
you
on
have to
YouTube, I think.
Special attention on the ones that do give you a lot of business and are your biggest fans too.
Right.
So, and they want to help you. So some of my agents even say like, I don't want to put so much like, oh, I sold this house, I sold that house. Your clients want to see, your past clients want to see you
Yep.
doing well in the community. I had someone that texted me, hey, I just saw your sign, go Kendra. Like they want
Yes.
you to succeed.
Right.
So it's
Everybody
okay to
probably has
brag, I guess,
that
a little
handful of like whatever raving fans
Yes.
where
Right.
they're going to be mad at their friends if they don't use you, right? Like those are a specific group of people that I think you're just going to naturally stay in touch with them more. I mean, because like they're out there really fighting for you.
They're
And
texting you
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
too,
Yes.
so it's easy
take
to
those ones to
have
dinner.
those
Yep.
connections. But aside from a CRM system, do you guys have any other kind of technology tools that you guys use? I use Mailbox Power for cards, just because it's easy. Handwritten cards, I mean, sometimes I'd rather do that, but there's other times that you say, okay, I just need to get something out. So
Yeah, I think there's a lot of outlets. I mean, we have something called Preferred Client Club. It's through, our brokerage, but something that will just auto-generate, 4 cards a year, 3 magazines, and a calendar. You know what I mean? Like those little systems that just do a little bit to help you. They're a little less personalized, but when I go to people's houses, they have them sitting there with my picture on them. So I'm
it's
like,
working,
wow.
obviously.
But yeah, those little, I mean, those are pretty easy.
Yeah, and then there's
yeah.
send out cards. But yeah, I use Mailbox Power. I use send out cards. It's like, I'm in church and I'm like, oh, they got married. I should send them a card and a gift.
Right.
So it's one of those systems that you can easily go in. Yeah,
Get them.
congratulations. Here's
Right.
a candle. Right. So then they're like,
I
oh, thank you for
just
thinking of
started
me.
using this one. I mean, sure, you probably already know about it, but the system, I started getting this from an old lender. It's called HomeBot.
Yep.
Yeah.
I set my clients on that up because it's like $25 a month. I mean, super cheap. And my
Right.
clients love it. They send me people to put on my list, like their friends. Like, can you add them to
Can you add
HomeBot?
them? Or my,
Yeah, I'm like,
my
sure,
friends
I
that
can
should
market to
know.
them, but they love seeing that monthly analysis of their home value. And for $25 a month, it's a great spend. And I can see when they're in there and they're requesting information. So that's been a good
Some
little
CRM
tool.
systems have that too. So I use Sync, Commission Sync,
Right.
and that has a system too. Some people don't want it on there. I send an email first, hey, do you
Yeah,
want me to
sure.
have this? Because of course you don't want to annoy someone if they don't want to move and they're like, oh, you're keeping me on this loop. But a lot of people look at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people like them.
I'm using HomeBot too. I think it's
Nice.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And the number of views the clients have in a month is surprising to me. Some will look at it 9, 10 times a
Yep.
month, some 3, 4 times a month. But when you see how many times they're looking at it, then, I reach out to them,
Right, it
even
prompts
though
you to
they
reach
haven't
out.
asked me yet for a CRM. They'll just send me a little note like, Cheryl, should I be selling now? Can you help me get the house ready? Those little kind of notes. But I love the content in that. I just think it's fantastic. And they adjust it based on, their personal situation. Because, of course, we don't know how much mortgage they have left on the house, if
And if
any.
they finish the basement or
Right.
whatever.
And they add that in, and it helps them calculate the, sort of true market value.
Right. It's a super user-friendly platform. I've really gotten good feedback from that.
Yep,
So.
me too.
Right. I think one other thing is just to really dial in what does your referral system look like, right? Like when you get a referral, how quick are you? Like what are you doing for people? Are you thanking them? So we take a pretty calculated approach. Like we definitely reward the action more than anything. So even if the referral does not work out, like we are going to be sending something in the mail like immediately. And I think it's pretty cool when somebody refers us that they get something within like 24 hours. They're kind of wowed by that. And then you have, like you guys mentioned, you can't just keep sending the same thing over and over. So you have people that refer you 5, 6 people in a year, and then you need to look at, okay, how are we taking a tiered approach? Like what's the first referral? What's the second referral? What's the third referral? And then, by the time you get to 3 or 4, you're taking them out to nice dinners
I
and
was just going to say, I'm like, take them out to dinner if they're giving 5 a year.
right. You're always going to have those connectors, as we call them, or the raving fans, and they 100% deserve a little extra,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So-
So in closing remarks, anything else that you really want to make sure that new agents know about client retention? Any advice that you have for new agents going forward who maybe haven't done an event, maybe don't have a CRM set up? What would be your advice to them?
Well, I think you started it off by saying, dare to try things, right? They may not always be a home run, but you get out there and you're trying. When COVID hit, it was very difficult for me to give up our 4th of July parade. And, everyone was struggling, that would be me, really struggling with the fact that we weren't doing the parade. So I did 4th of July in a bag. So we put
Very
together, a 4th of July bag, with sprinklers. It was all safe stuff, but we did that with a coupon for wherever that I put in, or not a coupon, but a gift card. And we delivered those to, our clients and said, we can't see you this year at the 4th of July parade, but here's your 4th of July in a bag.
Love it.
And so that was just, you just dare to do things, and you've got to pay attention to what's happening in the world and kind of react to that. Josh mentioned it early on, you need to know your demographics and make sure that you're recognizing that and responding to it. It's not just one demographic you have your whole career. It will change,
Right.
I assure you.
I think the key is, so many agents really focus on lead generation, and they're missing the post-close business. And I think I heard a statistic, I don't know, years ago, that each client you close is worth $171,000 in commissions over their lifetime if you are maintaining contact with them and following up. So that's a lot more lucrative than paying for leads. So I think if you are intentional and you do those things, you're going to capture that post-close business, and I think sometimes it's a miss.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with what you guys said. I think the only thing I have to add, and this business is not, there's nothing earth shattering here, right? That we talked
No
about.
emergencies.
There's no, I mean, it's just like, I like to say consistency builds trust, right? So as a new agent, as a younger agent, as some agent that maybe just hasn't been executing over the past couple of years of their career and you need to make a change, I mean, you've got to pick something and be consistent with it because your clients are going to see that. They're going to see that consistency. They're going to know that you're in the business. They're going to appreciate it. And if you're really sporadic with everything, like, maybe you talk to somebody 1 year and then you don't talk to them for 3 years, it's just going to be harder and harder to regain that trust and have those relationships. And I mean, again, I started this by saying I did things incorrect for 7, 8 years. And luckily, I feel like we're on the right track now, but I lost a lot of business not having that consistency. So simple things, start with one thing that you can execute throughout the year. And once you've got that down, add another layer and add another layer. And if you need help, get an assistant, whatever that looks like. But just keep, don't try and do it all at once. Keep that layered approach, building, manage it, and stay consistent.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that is all really good advice.
We were super long compared to the ones I watched on YouTube.
Oh, sorry. That's probably my fault. But thank you to the panelists. Thank you guys so much for sharing your insights. And thank you all for tuning in as well. And I hope that everyone has taken at least something, maybe had some motivation to try things a little bit different, maybe try some events. So thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.